Hello and welcome back to Bill Russo's Short Story Theater. We have for you today a story that takes place 3,000 years from now. The place is called Arinor. It is one of 357 planets that form the United States of Earth. Arinor is a small planet and would be an unimportant state, but for one thing: water. Arinor has 2 oceans and almost 100 large freshwater lakes. Water has become the most precious commodity in the 357 states since climate change robbed the other 356 planets of more than 60% of their water. Only Arinor was unaffected by the climate change, and it has become the richest planet in the United States. Arinor exports millions of gallons of water every day, and massive container starships that reach all of the other 356 planets in the nation. Every citizen of Arinor gets a share of the profits, and the citizens are among the richest people in the entire United States. The government of Arinor stores its profits in a vast treasure house. It is guarded by one man. His name is Kell. It is said that Kell is the stupidest man on Arinor. Yes, the stupidest man on Arinor has been appointed the guard of the treasure. It is a vast fortune totaling many billions of dollars. Why would such a man be put in charge of such a great fortune? Well, because it is a law on Arinor that everyone has to have a job, but the only job that Kell could possibly do is guard the treasure. You see, there has not been any crime on Arinor for some 3,000 years. So, Kell cannot possibly fail in his job. At least that is what the council thinks.
Mr. Chief Counsel, I've tried Kell on a dozen things. There doesn't seem to be a thing he can do. Actually, his intelligence seems to be no greater than that which we believe our ancestors had back 3,000 years ago in the 20th century.
This is bad. Very bad. Very, very bad. Well, you are correct. We do have a problem. We must find something for him to do. We can't have an idle person in the state. It's unthinkable, and it is also against the law.
But what can we have him do? Listen, Mr. Chief Counsel, I tell you he is utterly incapable of running any of the machines. I've tried to teach him. The only things that he can do are already being done much better by the robots.
Listen to me, Mr. Chief Counsel.
I have it! I tell you I have it!
There is one thing that is perfect for him. Let's make him guard of the treasure.
But there's no need of a guard. No one will touch the treasure without permission. You know very well that we haven't had a dishonest person in the state for more than 3,000 years. In those long 3,000 years, there has not been even one tiny crime.
Listen, Chief, that's it exactly. There aren't any dishonest people, so there won't be anything for him to do. He will do nothing, but he will keep the law by having a job, and we will have solved the problem of his idleness.
You might be correct. It might be a solution. At least a temporary one. I suppose we will have to find something else later on, but this will give us time to look for something.
Hello! I am Kell. You can call me Ra. And you just heard how I became the official guard of the treasure. They even gave me a badge. And nothing to do unless you count watching the key. The gates were kept locked, just as they were in the old days, but the large key hung beside them. Of course, no one wanted to bother carrying it around. It was too heavy. The only ones who ever used it were members of the council. As the man said, we haven't had a dishonest person in the state for thousands of years. Even I know that much. I have a secret that I cannot tell anybody about. In the first place, they'd never believe me. And if they did, I'd probably be punished for having her. Because we aren't allowed to have pets of any kind. It wouldn't have happened if they hadn't sent me way out there to work. But, you see, there are so many things I can't do. Now having this job left me with lots of time on my hands. That's how I happened to get her in the first place. I'd always wanted one, but pets were forbidden. Busy people didn't have time for them. So I knew I was breaking the law. But I figured that no one would ever find out. First, I fixed a place for her and made a brush screen so that she couldn't be seen by anyone coming to the gates. Then, one night, I sneaked into the forest and got her.
It wasn't so lonely after that. Now I had something to talk to. She was small when I got her. It would be too dangerous to go near a full-grown one, but she grew rapidly. That was because I caught small animals and brought them to her. Not having to depend on what she could catch, she grew almost twice as fast as usual and was so sleek and pretty. Really, she was a pet to be proud of. I don't know how I could have stood the 4 months there alone if I hadn't her to talk to. I don't think she really understood me, but I pretended she did, and that helped. Every 3 or 4 weeks, 3 of the council members came to take a part of the treasure or to add to it. Always 3 of them. That's why I was so surprised one day to see one man coming by himself. It was Grem. He was the one who persuaded the chief counsel to give me this job. I was happy to see him, and we talked for a while, mostly about my work and how I liked it. I almost told him about my pet, but I didn't, because he might be angry at me for breaking the law. Finally, he asked me to give him the key.
Now listen carefully, Ra. You are doing great work here. I need the key, because I have been sent here by the council to get something from the treasure.
I was unhappy to displease him, but I said, I am very, very sorry, Mr. Grem. But I am not able to let you have it. You know I can't give you the key. There must be 3 members. That is the law, and you know that.
Of course I know it. But Ra, something came up suddenly, so they sent me alone. Now, let me have the key to the treasure.
I shook my head. That was the one order they had given me. Never to give the key to any one person who came alone. Mr. Grem became very angry.
You are an idiot, Ra. You foolish simpleton. Why do you think I had you put out here? It was so I could get in there and help myself to the treasure.
But Mr. Grem, that would be dishonest. And there are no dishonest people in the state.
For 3,000 years. I know. Listen, you nincompoop. I'm going to get part of that treasure. And it won't do you any good to report it, because no one is going to take the word of a fool like you against a respected council member. They'll think you are the dishonest one. Now, give me that key.
It's a terrible thing to disobey a council member. But if I obeyed him, I would be disobeying all the others. And that would be worse. So I turned and looked at him and I said,
No! 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 Mr. Grem's face turned red. He charged at me, and he threw himself upon me. For his size and age, he was very strong, stronger even than I. I fought as hard as I could, but I knew I wouldn't be able to keep him away from the key for very long. And if he took the treasure, I would be blamed. The council would have to think a new punishment for dishonesty. Whatever it was, it would be terrible indeed. He drew back and rushed at me. Just as he hit me, my foot caught upon a root, and I fell. His rush carried him past me, and he crashed through the brush screen beside the path. I heard him scream twice. Then there was silence. I was bruised all over, but I managed to pull myself up and take away what was left of the screen. There was no sign of Mr. Grimm, but my beautiful pet was waving her pearl green feelers as she always did in thanks for a good meal. That's why I can't tell anyone what happened. No one would believe that Mr. Grimm would be dishonest. And I can't prove it, because my pet ate the proof. Even if I did tell them, no one is going to believe that a flycatcher plant, even a big one like mine, would actually be able to eat a man. So they think that Mr. Grimm disappeared. And I'm still out here, with her. She's grown so much larger now, and more beautiful than ever. But I hope she hasn't developed a taste for human flesh. Lately, when she stretches out her feelers, it seems that she's trying to reach me.
And so closes today's audio play, The Treasure of Arinor, as adapted by Bill Russo for Short Story Theater. We are on all podcast sites as well as YouTube. If you like us, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channels. This is Kayla Nightingale, speaking for Bill Russo, inviting you to come back again soon. Please do.